Hey guys, what is up? I hope you guys are having a good one. I am. Okay. This day has been very, 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 very interesting. I'm actually at a coffee shop. My internet is down at home. And I forgot my charger and I'm about 50% power, but we're gonna make this super awesome, guys, okay? Despite all that awesomeness. So you can actually see my face. I hope everyone's well. Let me see what we got. We have Tim, Kent, Rudy. What's up? How's it going? Stanley, Donna, Kareem, Felicia, Melanie, Benji, Mark. Awesome, guys. Yeah, good job to Benji and to Tim and to Mark and man, just so many people. You guys are really rocking it. Let me put this presentation up real quick. Okay, cool. Okay, guys. Hopefully you can see my screen. How's everything going? And make sure you can hear me. Everyone can hear me, yeah? Let me just make sure everyone has the link to get in here. Okay, let me help some people out real quick who did not get the link for some reason. I don't know why that happens. All right. Bam. And bam. Make sure that works. Okay, guys. Let's. Oh, crap. Let me get rid of that. Ay. Wrong one. Sorry, guys. Hold on one second. And remove. Unless everyone wants to be a presenter. We post. There we go. Okay. Man, today has just been crazy. All right, let's do this, guys. So here we go. Let me put this up. I'm actually going to keep this in this view so I can see your chats. And let me make sure you guys can see it. Okay, cool. You guys can see it. All right. So welcome, guys, to week 3 of the Dream Dropshipping program. What I want to do in this particular class is the way it's going to work is I want this to be kind of more conceptual. This is going to be all conceptual right now. And then in the modules, you'll get the actual like how-tos, okay? And it's kind of been the way it's been going. I just want to make that absolutely clear. And then we'll have some Q&A at the end, okay? So I kind of want to go through more of the why in this particular, kind of the what and the why, and then the how will be in the actual modules, okay? So let's get going. All right, so what the module weeks are going to look like. We've already done week 1, we've done week 2. So week 1 was kind of the getting over the fears and logistics and all that other stuff involved with dropshipping. Week 2 was more about getting it was more advanced how to find vendors to do wholesale and all that other stuff, and then also how to start getting your products up there, how to quick list your products, to basically hop on listings. In this particular week, we're going to talk more about the advanced listings, doing things with listings that are a little bit more on the advanced side. When I say advanced, it's really not that hard, guys. It is more of, this is beginner stuff. This is stuff that, you know, when I first started learning how to sell on Amazon in general, I would do when I couldn't find, if I had like a retail arbitrage product and there was no listing available for it, it's basically like that. It's not that big of a deal. Usually the vendors is going to have a UPC. And if we're going to actually talk a little bit about bundles. And even if they didn't have a UPC, you can go and get your own UPC code to start making your own listing. So not that big a deal at all. Okay. And then in week four is the cream of the crop. This is why I save it for the very, very end, because it is really what makes this a very, very, very appealing model. Like I said, I love this way better than Amazon FBA. Because it becomes very passive when you do this. And this is why I save it to the end, because it weeds out all the people, and there have been people who have been weeded out, which is a great thing. Weeds out all the people, and they don't get the same things that you guys get, guys. They don't get the secret, really my secret weapon, which really only a handful of people know, like Tim. Tim is one that knows what it is, and maybe a couple other people, but yeah, we'll be sharing that later, okay? All right, so just like last week, you should have 2 vendors by now if you contacted 10 plus suppliers, okay? I know I was just on the phone with Felicia, and she had 5 vendors, and at least 2 of them were really good or seemed to be good. And Felicia was rocking it. She doesn't have, she is just, all she does is take action. She's awesome. She's been taking action for 4 years since she's been with us on the academy. And she doesning make any excuses whatsoever. She just does it, and she does an awesome job always, Felicia. So shout out to Felicia. Same thing with Tim. Same thing with a lot of other folks too, obviously. All right, cool. So you should be at that point right now where you have 2 vendors, all right? All right, so congratulations. So far, you are among the action takers, guys. Like I said, we weeded people out who were not meant to be in this in the first place. In fact, one person in particular shot me question after question after question after question after question after question after question. I did a coaching call with them. I probably spent 2 or 3 hours. I probably spent 2 or 3 hours with them, and still they said, well, I'd rather go, and I don't think, I'm kind of overwhelmed. I'm kind of, he didn't really contact any vendors or anything like that, and he would rather go and sell used books. And that's fine. That's cool. I mean, it's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm just glad that they are not that they're no longer here. Not that I wish they weren't here, but it's good weeding out people like that, okay? Cool. And like I said, with vendors, if your vendors suck, if you have 1 vendor or 2 vendors and it's not working, guess what? Just move on. In fact, I was just on the phone with someone, and in less than 15 minutes, we found 6 vendors. And I let them know that, hey, we can even sit for like a quick 30-minute session or something like that. And I bet you after the 30-minute session, we could probably find 50 vendors to contact. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, congrats, guys, on taking action. You guys are rocking it. All right, so what we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about the circle, okay? The circle, what I call the circle. We're also going to talk about bundling. We're going to talk about returns. We're going to talk about defects, and we're going to talk about light automation, okay? We're not going to talk about the heavy automation, but more of the light automation when it comes to this stuff. Next week is the heavy automation, which we'll talk about virtual assistants. We'll talk about some of the software that I use to, no affiliation whatsoever, no affiliate links or anything like that. Tell you the things. Cool. All right. So the circle. This is what the circle is, guys. The circle is what essentially goes on in my head when I get a new vendor. All right, when I get a new vendor into a new account with a vendor, and I'm doing drop shipping. Okay. Essentially, you're going to run into 3 things when you're listing products. Remember, the biggest thing right now is to make sales. That's the whole goal. I mean, returns don't matter. How to bundle doesn't matter. What happens if a customer talks to you doesn't matter. None of that matters at all. Nothing matters until you start making sales. And how do you start making sales? You start making sales by actually getting vendor accounts and listing stuff. Okay, so if you're worried about all those other things and you still don't have a listing up, guess what? You are not worrying about the right thing. You're in the weeds. You're majoring in the minors. Okay, we have to start making sales. That's what this whole thing is about. Okay, as much as I love talking, as much as I love talking on these classes and things like that, I would much rather you say, hey, I made X amount of sales this month. How cool is that? It's much more meaningful to me when you have actually done a listing and have started focusing on making sales. Okay, so here is the circle, guys. The circle essentially is what happens when you actually get a vendor. So the first thing, the broadest thing, the biggest thing that you can do, the easiest thing that you can do, the one that you're going to do the most of in the beginning is you're going to hop on their listings. Okay, now are the vendors always going to have listings you can hop on? No. Sometimes one vendor might have tons of listings that you can hop on. Sometimes they might have one listing you can hop on. And we talked about this in week 2 on how to hop on listings. So if you haven't seen that video, go back to week 2 and go and check out that module, okay? But essentially, the first thing you do is you hop on listings. Why? Why do you hop on listings first? Why do you hop on listings first? The reason is they are the easiest, okay? It literally takes less than 10 seconds to hop on a listing, okay? If I have a vendor that has 500 items and I go through and I check and see what the profit is on all of those items on Amazon, and say 50 of those items or say 100 of those items or something I can jump on, I could literally, here, let me even do it. If I spent 30 seconds per listing, which you totally can. So if I have, say 100 listings divided by 30, 3.33. It's going to take you what, 3.5? No. It's going to take you maybe a half hour to do that. I don't know. It's just super fast. It's super fast. And you're able to here's what this is what was hard for me to think about, and this is what a lot of people have a big problem with. And I get this all the time. I got this twice today. The question was, well, how are people going to buy it? Like, how are people going to know if I'm not running sponsored ads or something like that? Well, guess what? Those listings have already been tenured pretty much in Amazon, and they get organic sales. If they have a sales rank on them, it doesn't matter if it's a 2 million sales rank. That means it has sold at some point in time. Okay, so is my 10 seconds worth or my 15 seconds worth hopping on a listing that could potentially sell one a day, one a week, one a month, or whatever? Yes, because I never have to go to that listing ever again. That will always be selling for me. That's an asset that I will always have, always, okay? Always. Whether I'm at TJ Maxx doing retail arbitrage, whether I'm selling used books, because Kareem actually just says I do both. I do used books and all this other stuff. When you do, it doesn't matter what you're doing, those listings will sell. Heck, I could be selling something right now and I don't even know, okay? So you hop on as many listings as possible. Tim said, right here, the opportunities present themselves for taking action are unreal. And by hopping on these listings, he says it's the fastest and it's no cost. And it's absolutely true, okay? Fastest and it's no cost. You can blow through those things so fast and get them going, okay? Cool. Let's see who's on here right now. Okay, so next. The next thing is in the circle is the inner circle. Now, I had someone ask, well, what if the vendor doesn't have an Amazon listing? Well, guess what? That's awesome to me, because guess what? Guess who's going to make that initial listing and who's going to control that from now on forever? That would be me. Okay, so I'm going to make a listing. Now, how long does it typically take to make a listing? It can take probably about 10 seconds. Sorry, 10 seconds, 10 minutes. That's it. If it's something that I know that's going to sell, it's going to take me anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes. And I'm going to show you actually how to go about doing that on this when we talk about bundles, okay? I'm actually going to share something with you that it might be the worst decision I've ever made in my life, but or it might be the best decision. We'll see if which one it is. But you actually can make the listing for them, okay? The thing you have to keep in mind is that what is the cost? What is your cost in doing this type of stuff? If you went to because I remember when I was doing retail arbitrage, if I scanned the UPC code and nothing came up and I knew I was going to make $50 from it or $30 from it, what do you think I did? I made a listing for it, okay? And it took maybe about 5 to 10 minutes to make that listing, but in that 5 to 10 minutes, I knew I was going to make $50. Well, what if you knew that in 5 to 10 minutes, you were not only going to make $50, you were going to make $50 over and over and over and over and over again because it's something that's replenishable. It's a huge difference. With the retail arbitrage, it was one time, or it might have been like, it could have been like 100 of them, but eventually it would be back down to 0 and I would never be able to get that product ever again, okay? So, and then the inner circle, which is going to be the least, but it provides a lot of different opportunities and it makes it harder for your competitors to come in, is to bundle, okay? And to bundling your listings, and Tim has a great point. He says, I would add the opportunity to bundle initially comes from sales from existing listings. Exactly, totally, because you actually start seeing two things. One, you can actually start seeing like what's selling quickly. You know, because I have a few things that sell quickly. You can also see, even in the listing itself, it'll say, hey, people who bought this also bought this, or frequently bought together. Those types of things, okay? You'll see in the listing itself, it'll say frequently bought together, and boom, okay? You are able to buy, you are able to bundle those two things. I'm going to show you a listing that I'm going to bundle. Basically, that's simply because it's based off of a variation. Okay, there's 2 variations of this particular product, and I'm going to show you that I'm actually just going to bundle the 2 together and put them in as one, and try and position it in kind of a different way. Okay, so yeah, when you are bundling, when you're making listings, all those things, really, what is it? How long does it take you to do it? Not long at all, and you're going to see that it doesn't take that long, but it reaps a ton of benefits, okay? You don't have to pack, you don't have to ship, you don't have to do all those things when you're doing drop shipping. All you're doing is literally creating a listing. So if you can't create a listing, if you are too scared to create a listing, or if you think that's too much work to spend 10 minutes creating a listing, then I don't know, I can't help you because that's just kind of crazy. It's pretty crazy. Okay. All right. So let's talk about bundling, guys. Okay, we're going to talk about bundling. And in order to do this, do you remember last week? Last week I showed you a new dealer that I got. And I didn't tell you who the dealer was or anything like that. But I got a new dealer. Basically, by showing you guys me manually doing this, how easy it is to actually get a vendor for something. Well, I'm actually going to, and it might be the worst decision I've ever made, I don't know. I'm still going to go and do the bundles and all that other stuff, but I'm actually going to show you who that vendor is, okay? And I'm going to bundle something as we speak, okay? I'm not going to show you the how of bundling, aside from more of the what's it called, I'm not going to show you the how aside from how I do the pictures, because a lot of people are always worried about how I do the pictures. It's really not that hard. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pop open a new thing here, and then so in the modules themselves, in the class modules, I'll show you how I actually do the bundling, how I do the listing, all the things that I put in the back end. It's super easy, guys. You don't have to spend that much time with it in the beginning, but I'm going to show you how I go about doing that. So first, I'm going to go to Pixlr editor. So I Google Pixlr editor, Pixlr. And the reason why I Google Pixlr editor, it takes me directly to the editor. If you go to pixlr.com, it has a convoluted way of, it's hard to actually get to the Pixlr for some reason. I don't know why. But this is essentially a kind of a Photoshop thing online. But before I go into that, I'm going to show you the vendor that I have. So Red Cat Racing. Okay. Red Cat Racing. This is my vendor that I got. And they have a number of different toys and things like that. They're all a hobby RC car type thing. And the thing about Red Cat is that they need, in order to dropship with them, you need to sell a minimum of $500 per order. Okay, so we really got a couple of choices, and this is where bundling actually becomes relatively it can actually be a really cool way to raise the price of stuff. Even though like I said, I recommend hopping on listings. So I had two choices with Red Cat. So first was the hopping on the listing. So if I go to Red Cat, actually I'll do Red Cat Racing, and then I'm gonna go high to low. I'm gonna go and look at the stuff that's over $500. Okay, these ones are crap listings up here. The 1,955. These are actually sold if you buy them from Red Cat. It's I want to say about $200, $300 or something like that. It's retail, so these are just crap listings. But if you scroll down, this is the first one that is the highest cost. It's 1,188, and I can get this, I believe, for about $850 wholesale. Okay, so it's about $850 wholesale. If I go into here, you can actually see on the bottom right, there's my store right there. You can see who my, you can see that that's my name, and I'm waiting for Amazon to sell out on these. So it's 4 left in stock. I know that I could bundle, if I wanted to, I can bundle this with this. I wouldn't bundle this Traxxas thing because that's a different company, but these two things, I think I can get this from Red Cat, but we'll see. This is not the bundle I want to do anyway. If I go down, I will see that the sales rank is 462,000. Do I care? No, I just want to know that it's selling. There's 4 left in stock here. It doesn't look like Amazon's going to restock. I'm guessing this will sell maybe 1 a week or 1 every 2 weeks, maybe, hopefully, maybe 1 every 3 weeks. I don't care because it took me 10 seconds to hop on. Not a big deal. And I would be selling it for, and I would have the buy box when Amazon's gone, and it would be for 1,180. All right, so that's one. So I hopped on that one, and I essentially hopped on. The earthquakes are out of stock. I think that's why I didn't do those. Oh no, I know why I didn't do these. These two are crap listings too, because you can actually get these for 200. So I did this gas truck, this Red Cat gas truck one. You can see my name right here, Prosulum. Even though Amazon's on there, I'm gonna do it. And that this was yesterday. This was 10 left in stock. Now it says 9. Why am I going on this? Even though Amazon's selling it, because my hope is that Amazon, even though I kind of see, even me, I have to get out of the retail arbitrage mindset. Even though really what do I have to lose by hopping on something that Amazon's selling? And then even with all these other vendors, I have 9 other vendors here. I don't recommend it all the time, but everything is not black and white, and I try to template everything out in the course. But in this particular instance, I know that I can outdo some of these vendors here, even if they have the same price, because they don't have as good of a positive rating as I do. And so I just hopped on it to see what happened, and it looks like I'm going to get the buy box on this. And so what I'm betting on is that Amazon sells out on this, and even if they are going to reorder, if it takes them, a week or 2 to reorder, or 3 weeks, or however many weeks to reorder, my hope is that I will actually sell some of these first. Okay, so this is 50,000 in toys and games, and if I see you guys hop on this, we'll see if we will have a battle to the death. But when Amazon sells out on this, I'll make some sales. And if they end up not restocking it, great, even better. Then I'll just make sales over and over and over again and drop ship this thing. Okay. This is a variation right here, this green flame version of this truck. Here, once again, Amazon's selling this, only 5 left in stock. And I want to say when I jumped on this, it was 8 left on stock. Okay. This one has a higher, so this is 325. This was the first one I jumped on, see, I'm not on in here right now. Let me see if I'm number 4. See where I go up. So so I'm number 4 here. So it's Amazon, a couple of others, and then me down here. Okay. So when Amazon's gone, I'll still have the buy box in some fashion or another. Okay. So what I would do, what I'm planning on doing, and what I will actually show you how I would do it and how I'm going to do this, is I'm actually going to make these 2 a bundle. Okay, I'm going to make this this green flame and this orange flame one a bundle. So a lot of people said, when I talked about bundles, they said, well, how are you going to get the pictures? You don't have pictures, blah, blah, blah. Kent, actually, good question. Kent says, match the lowest price. I actually am matching the lowest price. I'm just going by 1 cent up. I usually try and just go 1 cent above everybody else. That's just my personal preference, so I don't cause somebody to try and go and do a bidding war. Okay, lowest price is $7.49. I'm at $7.50 here. I could do $7.49 and I think it'd be fine. That's just the way my pricer is set. So it really is the lowest price. The lowest price to get the buy box, at least. Okay. All right. So I'm going to show you how I bundle these guys, the images part. Okay. So image wise, super easy. Okay. Where can I find images? How can I find images to bundle things? I don't know. Where in the heck could I find? Oh, right here, duh, on Amazon, right? So I can take this image, I right click, save image as, and say I drop this on, I'm gonna drop this on I'm just gonna call this 1. I'm gonna put this on my desktop, and I'm gonna go to this one over here for the green flame. Click in here, right click, save image as, and 2. Cool, now I have my bundle image. Was that hard? No, wasn't hard at all. Pretty crazy, huh? So now, now that I have my images, I'm going back to Pixlr over here. I'm going to create a new, actually I'm going to open images from computer. Okay. Now I'm going to go and do 1 and 2 right here. You probably can't see when I'm doing my file thing. Now I have 2 images, okay? Not hard at all. Not hard at all, okay? 2 images. How do I put these onto each other? Very easy. First, I choose the image that I want to use in the first place. I'm going to use this one right here, actually. Oop, Okay. Sorry, it kind of froze up for a second. I'm going to use edit and then free. I'm going to choose this orange one right here, and then I'm going to do edit and then free transform. And I'm going to shrink this down a little bit. Put that there. I'm going to save my changes. I want to do this fast, guys, so you can see how easy this is. And I'm going to copy this one over here, paste it here in another layer, edit, free transform. I'm going to put it down like this. Boom. Guys, how long did that take? And I could make it better, bigger, better, however I wanted to do it. But how long did that take? Now I have my bundle image. This is one image right here. I'm going to do save. Save to my computer. We'll call it one bundle. Bam. Cool. I have my bundle image. How long did that take? Anybody know? Anybody know how long that took? Not long at all, right? So let me go back to the chat over here. That's pretty crazy, yeah? So you can see bundle image, not that hard. I can use that to actually create my bundle. Bundle is actually very easy to create too. You'll see that in the module. But once I, like again, I said, yeah, so you can't set about 15 seconds, okay? Did I have to go out and buy these things? No. Did I have to go out and tie up my money in thousands of bulk, with thousands of dollars in bulk buys? No. I didn't have to do any of that. And I can choose from any of these things that I want to show is there. I can actually, what I will do is I will actually take my bundle and then I will take some of these because they're the same thing except one's green and the other is orange. I'll take these inner ones to show what it looks like inside. And I'll even take this video if I wanted to, okay? Because it's my vendor and they let me do that. So less than 15 seconds. So Munir says 57 seconds. Oh, come on, Munir. It wasn't that long, was it? Jeez. So, but you can see how powerful that is. Now I have an image. If I go here, now I have this image. I literally go and upload into Amazon. I can grab all those other images real quick, upload all those other images that are on those things that complement this, and I'm done with the images. Now I can go and create my listing, which you'll see in the actual modules, okay? It's almost that simple with the modules too, okay? Now, you do need your own UPC code, okay, guys? So Pixlr Edit, I'm gonna actually go through and walk through all this stuff in the modules. Your own UPC codes, you can just go to ebay.com, and then for the UPC codes, you can do UPC codes. And what I recommend are these guys right here. They're a lot more expensive than these other guys right here. But the cool thing is that hold on, let me move. Hold on one second. So the cool thing about these guys is I know that if you look at these other ones, they're like $179 for UPC codes. There's been a rash of people not being able to actually do their listings because the UPC codes are not valid, okay? They're not genuine. So you need to be very, 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 very careful. You need to be very, very, very careful in what you do with the and get the right UPC code. So I recommend these guys. Those are the ones who they give you a certificate and all that other stuff. So here, let me. I had some loudmouths come over, but it's a public place, so I can't complain, right? All right. So they'll give you 1,000 UPC codes for $14.49. I think they have some for like 100 like 100 UPC codes for less or whatever. 500 barcodes. Oh, sorry. Anyway, that's where I would go. Okay. Yeah. 1,000 for like $14.99. You're not going to get you're not going to break the bank with that. Are you going to use all 1,000? Probably not. So let me see. So it's these guys, the guys with the girls on there that's pointing at the thing. This one right here. Let me see if I can highlight. These guys right here. The guys with the girl. Guys with the girl. Cool. Manir says I bought from the same guys. Yeah. So they look really, really good. So good question on the bundling. Is that what would your pricing strategy be with that bundle? It's a good question. I would actually probably just keep it the same price because I'm not going to have much competition. The thing that you'll see, guys, with the thing that you'll see with this, and it's really, really, really cool. So let me go back to where I was at. The thing that you'll see with this is that when you create bundles, you're so much more flexible than anybody else, okay? Most dropshippers will not create bundles. Let's just make that clear. Most dropshippers do not create bundles. Why? Because it takes more time. And two, a lot of dropshippers, especially the smaller guys, they do everything manually, just like we're doing. And so it becomes very cumbersome after a while, tracking, just doing the whole bundle thing. But really cool thing is in week 4, I'll show you the software I use that actually lets you bundle and automatically do that stuff. But for this sake right now, I would actually just keep it at the same price for both, like not at the same price, but basically add the 2 prices together. And I know that almost for certain that there would be no competitors that would come in on that, just because it takes too long. Because you have to think, a lot of these guys are actually buying wholesale too. They're not drop shipping. So if they're buying wholesale, you think that they really want to buy both of those things in bulk? Probably not. You think that even if they were doing FBA, you think that they would want to go and start bundling these things and doing FBA? Probably not. So you have so much more flexibility than the average person, okay? So that's how I would do it first. And if I'm making sales off of that, I would try raising the price. And if I'm able to raise the price slightly and see how far it goes, I would raise the price until I'm actually not selling anymore, okay? Or if the sales velocity drops like big time. Cool. All right. So hopefully you understand that concept of bundling. The other thing I could do, and this is one thing that I'm contemplating. I just want to make sure I do complementary products with these guys. If I do Red Cat Racing, they have specific models that would equal up to $500. Okay, so maybe I would want to do a truck, a buggy, and one of these kind of truggies. They're kind of like a difference between a truck and a buggy. Maybe I would want to do those 3 and have them equal out to 500. Another way of telling is if I go into this Red Cat Racing Volcano down, so I can see right here, frequently bought together, these 2 trucks, because they are both volcanoes. And I could do the batteries. I could do 2 batteries, 2 trucks, and then add a buggy or add another truck to that mix and get it over $500 or something like that. It's just and you can see it's not that hard to do. I would just grab the pictures and then I would make my listing and go. Okay. So what would I do pricing wise on that? I would probably just do the same thing, just add them all up, and you could charge more, but I would always start by just adding them up first and then slowly increasing the price to see where the threshold is, because a lot of people just will buy based off of price, and if they think it's too much, the market's not going to bear it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Tim, exactly. So if you crash one, Yeah, if you crash one, you have a backup. Also, a lot of, you think of families, you think of, especially with the cheaper ones who, it's Christmas time, or it's a birthday, or it's Easter, or whatever. Um, it's a family of 3 boys. They're going to want 3 cars, or it's a family of 2 boys with 2 boys. They're going to want 2 cars. And so you can bundle them up and call it a party pack, or a multi-pack, or a 3-pack bundle, or whatever, and it gives them an easier way of buying. Especially if it's one's red, one's green, and one's blue, or one's red, white, and blue. You can call it the American collection or something like that. One's red, white, and blue, and each boy has their own car. So. So you can see how powerful this can be, guys. But here's the thing. Here's the thing is that, what did I have to do to make that happen? I didn't have to tie up money. Think about this, guys. How many, I've bought bundling courses, sponsored ad courses that talk about bundling, all those different things. But the fact of the matter is, no matter what you're doing in all of those other courses and all of those other things, you have to actually go out and buy those products. Okay, you have to go out and buy those products. Here, you're literally just creating the listing. You're seeing if it works. If it doesn't work right off the bat, oh well, maybe in 3 months, you can run some sponsored ads, and maybe it'll sell. But if it doesn't, oh well, leave it there. And after a while, who knows? Organically, it might catch traction, and you just move on to something else. But it's always there. It's always there, that with the potential to make you money. Always, 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 without you having to put up any upfront costs into the actual product itself. So that's pretty crazy, yeah? That's why I love this. Is I can mess with bundles. I can bundle things all day long, and I did not have to put any money into it whatsoever. Okay. All right, so let's move on. Where am I? Where's my stuff? Oh, it's over here. So hopefully, like I said, I did not ruin myself, that particular thing. I just thought it would be beneficial to you guys. I'd rather you guys see, hey, this actually working, or how, that this is, I'd rather sacrifice a vendor and show you what is possible than to have you guys be in the dark. Okay, so that was the vendor that I said in this particular instance. Okay. All right, so let's talk real quick about returns, inquiries, and defects, customer inquiries, and things like that. I know it feels like we're kind of coming off of a high, talking about bundles and making money and making bundles and all that other stuff. Now we got to get to reality, that every now and then you're going to run into this. And trust me, my heart skips a beat every time I get a vendor inquiry, or sorry, a customer inquiry. It's just the nature of the beast. I am a perfectionist. I do not like getting bad ratings at all, and so I tend to I definitely tend to my ears perk up when things like this happen. So first things first, do not panic. Okay, switch on your customer service mode. This is what makes it awesome. Okay, this is what makes it awesome, is that you get to talk to the customer, whereas with Amazon FBA, sometimes you get reamed because you have someone in you have someone who just totally does not do well in customer service, and you get the blame for it. So first things first, let the customer know you're handling it. So it might be a defect. It might be that the customer doesn't want it anymore. It might be because of whatever reason. It might be just a question. Who knows? Just let the customer know that you're handling it. Even if you don't know the question, just say, hey, you know what? I think this is what it is. I'm just a retailer, but I'm going to contact the manufacturer for you and get the exact answer. As long as they know that you are making things happen, and I'm going to show you in the module kind of how I what like messages look like, and and how to easily answer them and all that stuff. It's super easy. But as long as they know that you are helping them and you're doing what you're taking care of them, they're fine. So let them know that you're handling it, okay? Then once you let the customer know that you are handling it, it might be something like, it might be something, if it's a return or whatever. If it is a return, contact your vendor. So if a customer says, hey, I'd like to return this item, you say, first thing you're going to do is you're going to shoot an email to your vendor saying, hey, this customer wants to return it. And then also you're going to let the customer know that you're handling it. You say, yeah, no problem. Was there something wrong with it? If they say it's a defect, hey, typically you're going to have to say, hey, can you take pictures of it? Just want to make sure that it's, what the defect is, or if it's a replacement part. I actually just had someone ask for a replacement part for something because it was welded wrong. And so they took pictures, and then the vendor went and sent those pictures over to, sent those pictures over to their warranty department and then approved sending out another part, okay? So you contact your vendor. Why do you contact your vendor? Sometimes they want to have, they need to give you an RMA, okay? They need to give you, I forgot what it stands for, but basically it's the approval to return the item, okay? Sometimes the vendor will want to know different things, so that because they have a warranty department, they need to be able to keep metrics on why this stuff is happening, why a return's happening, so that they can better their operations, okay? So they'll give you an RMA, and then once you have that RMA, you can authorize on Amazon to return that product, and you just can put in that RMA number and all that other stuff, and I'll walk you through that process in the modules. The big question that always comes up: who pays for the shipping, the return shipping? If your vendor, sometimes your vendor will say, no problem, here's the shipping for it, it's prepaid or whatever. Sometimes they'll do it, sometimes they won't. My thing is, always think of the long term, guys. Are you going to break the bank? Say someone buys 10 things from you, and you made $100 each of profit off of those 10 things, and they return one item from they need to return one item, and you're going to lose $100, and you're also going to pay $130 shipping. Is it worth it, guys? Is it worth it? Yes, you're gonna lose that $100 that you got, and you're gonna lose the $30 in shipping or whatever it might be. Is it worth it to get a bad or negative review? Probably not. Okay. You netted your profit. Your net profit's about $870 on that on all of those sales. Why would you want to ruin your reputation over $130? You wouldn't want to ruin your reputation over that, because guess what? You can turn that whole negative situation into a positive. You can turn that into them giving you good feedback, like a 5-star feedback for being so awesome. And did you see when I hopped on some of those listings that I was even though there were 9 other sellers, I was one of the top sellers who had the buy box? That's not an accident, guys. That's not an accident. That's because I have good standing. That's because I'm a good seller, okay? Because I'm a good seller, I get the buy box. And when you're dealing with companies that are doing map pricing, and everybody is at $7.99 because $7.99 is the map, okay? $7.99 is the map. Guess who's going to be on top? It's going to be the best vendor, okay? The one with the best feedback, the one with the best shipping, the one with that everyone loves, okay? So just so you know, and I see this in the chat, the email, when you're emailing the customer, you have to do everything through Amazon's channels. Now, just so I have in the past gave my customer a call to make sure that everything was okay before emailing them. Okay, just so you know, because Amazon gives you their number. I gave my customer a call. This was one that I was shipping to Hawaii, and my customer absolutely loved me. Okay, and it allowed me to say, hey, I also want to give you a gift card because of all the trouble that's going on, and they loved that. And so then when I actually emailed them, I said, I didn't mention the gift card. I didn't mention anything like that. I just said, no problem. We're going to get this handled, all that other stuff. And I wasn't bribing them. I just said, hey, because of your trouble, I'm going to give you a gift card. But you want to go through Amazon's channels in every way that you possibly can. They give you a phone number so you can call them. As far as I know, maybe definitely want to talk, or not talk, but check terms of service. But they loved me. They absolutely loved me, even though their product was going to be a month late, or not a month late. It was going to be 30 days, even though it should have been about 15 days. Okay. All right. So let's continue real quick, because I want to be able to get to questions and stuff. All right. So let's talk light automation with Zapier. Okay. And so light automation, and it kind of goes along with what Kareem just asked. Kareem said, do you use third-party service for your reviews and feedback and stuff? And the answer is yes. It's actually one of the most important parts of my business for keeping good feedback. I do it differently than most people, but I do not want to. I'm not going to share it till next week. The thing that I want you guys to do, guys, is I never want you guys to go and buy software right now until you have actually, Mark. I can tell Mark if Mark wants to let me know. Tim, I think already knows. But anyone who's already made a sale, I have no problem telling you. But most people, it's just in human nature, will go and buy a product or go and buy a tool and spend money before they've even made a sale. Okay, so that's the only reason why I haven't shared that with you guys yet, and I'll share it next week. I don't have an affiliate program with them or anything like that. I do have my own recommendations of stuff, but I like I said, I don't feel comfortable right now sharing that. Okay, just because I want to make sure you guys are making sales. That's the most important thing. Sales. Everything comes down to sales, okay? All right. So if you've made sales, go ahead and send me a PM and or an email, and I will let you know what it is. Good question. Actually, before we get into that, Peter says, does the vendor ever give you a hard time and refuse to accept the return? I've never had that. I've never had that happen. You always want to know your vendor's return policy. I've honestly never had that happen. But I have Okay, guys, can you, hopefully you can hear me. Let's see. It down. Okay, well, let me see if I can still see. This. Huh. Okay. Let's see if you guys can see me now. Can you see me? Okay. All right, guys. I think okay. Should be good now. Okay. I'm gonna go off where I was at real quick. Okay. So okay. Cool. Something's been up with Google Hangout, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with that. But let me share my screen again. We had this happen last time. Not this last. No, we had a webinar last night, and this was happening. But oh well. Let's keep going. All right. So what I was going to say is never had a problem with vendors at all saying, that they, giving me a hard time with returns at all. It never came up. I'm sure you would get that. Just know your vendor's return policy. Generally, the first time they'll give you kind of just a slap on your hand saying, hey, well, this is what our return policy is. So don't even worry about it. Okay. All right. So let's go into Zapier real quick. So if you don't know what Zapier is, they have a free version. This is the only reason why I'm talking about this right now. They have a free version of Zapier. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to connect one thing to another. One of the problems you're going to start seeing as you start making sales, okay, is that it's kind of hard to keep track of. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to keep track of things. So one thing that you can do, and I'm going to show you a module on how I use Zapier for all of this stuff, is you can use Zapier to say if you get an email from Amazon, you can then use Zapier to make something occur in your spreadsheet, like a spreadsheet that you have. Maybe it's a spreadsheet that says, hey, this is the sale, this is what the sale rec name was, this is when it needs to be shipped, all those different things. You can actually have that automatically go into a spreadsheet, so and then you can say, okay, cool, I shipped this on this day. So it's really good, especially if you have a virtual assistant, or if you have someone working with you at home or whatever. It makes it really, really easy for you to keep track of things outside of Amazon. Okay, Amazon has their way of doing it. It can become kind of cumbersome. This way you can share things with people, and it makes it a little bit easier to use, okay? So Zapier is all about connecting one thing to another. So if I wanted to, you can see actually here, I have like my Academy podcast to WordPress. So like when Josh from the Online Empire Academy actually creates a podcast, it will actually go to Dropbox, and then it will go to WordPress and create a post automatically and all other stuff, so he doesn't have to do it. It's pretty crazy. But I'm going to show you kind of how I'm not going to show you on here. I'll show you in the module. But essentially, there are two things that you can do. It's probably the easiest thing you can do right now in order to start tracking your sales from Amazon. One is to anytime you get an Amazon sales email notification, you can actually have it create a spreadsheet for you. Okay, so how would you do that? Very easy. It's very, very easy. Okay, what you would do is you would actually go to, there's two places. One is Zapier.com, which is the main site, but Zapier actually has a thing called an email parser. It will actually parse out data in your email. I had no idea this even existed until I needed to solve this problem. But it will actually parse out your email. It's completely free. Zapier has a free version, a free tier as well, at least last I checked. And what you can do is you can go from the parser. So I would actually make a new Zap, and I'll show you how the parser works as well. But I would go and do this email parser right here. You can even just type in parser if you wanted to. Email parser by Zapier. And you can say, how is this going to be triggered? It's going to be triggered whenever you get a new email. And the parser gives you an email that you send to. And in the module, I'll actually show you how you get emails to that from like Gmail or whatever. I'm going to show you how to do it from Gmail. If you don't use Gmail, essentially, so we have the Zapier email parser account that I already have right there. And remember, this is all concept, guys. Don't worry about the details. Don't worry about this. I'm just showing you an overview. Okay. The modules will have kind of like the step-by-step in this. And don't let this overwhelm you either. You don't have to do this. Trust me, if you haven't made a sale yet, if you're not Mark or Tim or some of the other people who have made sales, don't worry about this yet. Make your first sale. That's the biggest thing. Okay. All right. So you go right here and set up. Okay, so screen's going off and on again. Sorry, guys. So you can set up whatever the email is that they give you, and you do continue. And then from here, I'm going to do, you do the actual action. So now, what do I want to happen? What do I want to happen when this thing gets triggered? Well, I want it to go to Google Sheets, right? So Google Sheets, I'll go there. Okay, so I'm going to go to Google Sheets, and then I'm going to do, you can do either look up spreadsheet row, or you can do create spreadsheet row. I'm going to go to create spreadsheet row. I'm going to save and continue. And then I can go and select the sheets that I want. I can find the spreadsheet that I want. And it gives you all the lists of all your spreadsheets that you have. And you just find the one that you want. And I'll just say, like, it's this affiliate spreadsheet. This is just for example purposes anyway. Then you can go to the worksheet within the spreadsheet, sheet 1. And then you can actually tell what you want to, you can tell Zapier what you want to put in this. These are all like these are all the different columns that were in that specific spreadsheet. It says June, December, July, all that stuff. Don't want your columns might look different. Obviously, this is just for example. But you click on the right-hand side where it says Insert a Field, and I can, because I've already set some of these things up, I can say email recipient. I can say, I had actually parsed out some of these things. So so listing description, Amazon listing link, product price, Amazon fee, merchant SKU, and all that other stuff, okay? All right. So then I could just put those into all the columns I want, and it'll create new rows of data. And like I said, this is just for the demonstration purposes, so we're not going to actually go through this right here. But here is the email parser, okay? It looks weird, and here, it'll go right here. This is what it looks like. Parser.zapier.com says, hello, I'm a friendly robot. I give you an email address. You send me some emails you want to use as templates for extracting data. And you create your mailbox that it gives you. So I'm actually going to go to my mailboxes right here. So you'll see they'll give you some weird mailbox. It'll say like IOERYOZ2 robot.zapier.com, and this one was actually touched 1 month, 1 week ago, because this is one that I had like as a demo. This one was touched 2 days ago because I had a sale. Okay, cool. So if you're having problems with the vid, just refresh. Okay. So yeah, if you're having problems with the video, just refresh. Gotta love Google Hangouts. Sometimes it's friggin' crazy. Oh well. All right. So the cool thing about this is, let me go back to it. If I edit this, you're actually gonna see another vendor that I have. Okay, that's how much I love you guys, and how much I think is worth it. Okay. All right. So what this does is right here. You're gonna see. Let me see if I can do. Wonder if I can undo some of these. Okay, well, I can't name the selection, but basically what you can do is, see right here where it says like product name. This one says product name, right equipment, 320-pound bar and bumper set, Black Olympic, whatever. So say I want that to be something called product name. Okay, I would just highlight it, all of that right there, because that's all the title that came from Amazon. I'm going to highlight it and say I want to name this as product name. Product name. I know that the Amazon emails, because this is an Amazon email that comes whenever you sell something. I know that this Amazon email will always come in pretty much the same format every time, okay? So I highlight that, I call it product name, and I click save. Now right here, it says, next to product name, it says product name, okay? So that tells me, but what that basically says is the Zapier robot, the parser, is saying, okay, Dean, now that you highlighted that specific area, I'm always going to look at that area and call this product name. So you can use that in Zapier however you want. You can, if an email comes from the email parser, and it has all that data, you can say send product name to Jimmy Johnson via email if you wanted to. In this particular instance, in situation, I would send it to one of my Google Sheets as the product name. Quantity remaining, if I wanted to say, I wanted to call this quantity remaining, I'm going to highlight, I'm going to do quantity. And like I said, don't get overwhelmed by this. This is not, don't even worry about it, okay? Say if I want to call this quantity remaining, I would just do that and click save. Now that's called quantity remaining, and I can use that specific data in any way that I want. Okay, so now I have an easy way to add things to the spreadsheet. I'll show you another thing that I do with this. If I do, where is it? If I go down here, I do price that it's sold. Then I'll do Amazon fee. This is Amazon fee that I did. Okay. I easily have this put into a spreadsheet where in row 1, it's the price that it was sold. Row 2 is the Amazon fee. And then later on, I can have my virtual assistant put in row 3 the cost of goods sold. Okay. And then columns. Column 1 would be the product price that it was sold. The column 2 would be the Amazon fee, and then column 3 would be the cost of goods sold, and column 4 would be the net profit. So I would know very quickly what the net profit is, okay, off of each one of these items. I could probably even do like an if-then statement saying if it's this right equipment, whatever, then the cost of goods sold in column 3 would be $500 or something. I don't know. But easy way to get data from the emails, because there's really no way right now that I know of that to get it from the Amazon API yet. Okay. Kent says, will this work with Excel? Yes and no. It won't work with Excel because it really does. Excel doesn't have an API. Google does. So you would do Google Sheets. You can download that Google Sheet into Excel. You can do it that way. Okay. James, if you don't see the video, just go close it out and come back in. It won't work with Excel because there really is no API. Okay. But generally, that's it, guys. Okay, this was all conceptual. This is all to show you what you're going to be getting in the modules. The modules should be here by tomorrow morning. If you're watching this live, if you're watching this in the actual module, then you already have all the stuff. But it's going to be pretty exciting. Okay, it's going to be pretty exciting. Now you're going from the actual sales process into more of the operations process. Okay. But definitely still focus on the sales, guys. Still focus on the sales. Okay, so let me make sure there's nothing else. Cool. What are your questions? We are now open for questions. Feel free to ask. I'm going to be closing some of these up. And it can be questions of any of all of the weeks. It doesn't have to be just this week as well. Okay? Feel free to ask questions on anything. Actually, let me scroll down and make sure there was no, oh, I lost the questions if there were. Okay. Tim says, method of communicating with customers. Amazon has its own message center. So go through Amazon's message center. Go through all of I will say it this way, go through all of Amazon's approved channels of communicating with the customer. Okay? That's what I would say. That's what I would do, is I would not go out of the approved method for talking to customers. Ken says, most of my time is taken up verifying inventory and getting price lists, etc. Don't dare list until I know the facts. That's good, Kent. That's actually, you should. One really quick way, and I talk about this in the hopping on the listing video, is make sure that you can actually go into that vendor's. When you know what your vendor is or who your vendor is, you can spin real quick. So if I go to Amazon and I do Red Cat Racing, if I do Red Cat Racing, over on the left-hand side over here, brand Red Cat Racing. Now what do? On the next one over here, I go and I open up a tab. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't know if it's against their terms or whatever. But I would open up another tab and I would say, okay, cool. So how much can I get? Okay, this is selling for $159. What's my wholesale price? Okay, it's $99. Okay, cool. I'll make X amount off of that. This one's $214. What's my wholesale price? $99. Cool. I'll make $40 off of that, or $50 off of that, or $60, or whatever it ends up being. And I'll just go down the line. Usually I'll do the higher to lower first, because you can usually get better margins on that. But sometimes you don't. But I would just go, okay, I can get $150 with this one. I can get $200 with this one, and just go down the line. But you're going off of Amazon. You're going off of what the price is selling on Amazon, because sometimes your customer your vendor might only have MSRP and not have MAP. So you might have people who take you can get the wholesale product for $300, and they might be selling it for $350. So, and they got a huge price break because they're a wholesaler or something like that. You never know. Okay. Phil says, do you collect sales tax or just pay it out of the profit? I collect sales tax. I collect sales tax. I don't want to. I mean, the margins are hard enough with drop shipping in most circumstances. So I collect sales tax. John, I don't know what you mean by video links for VA. All the video links on week 1, 2, and 3 are for virtual assistants. So that'll be out tomorrow in the week 3. When hopping on listings, can we charge our listings to charge for shipping? You can, but you have to think before you do. If everyone says free and you say whatever time, it might be, one shipping. Think about if you were the customer, would you want free shipping? If it said, even if it said $199 plus $5 shipping, and your other competitor said $204 or plus shipping, $204.99 plus shipping, plus free shipping, the perception is that they're getting free shipping. I don't know why. It's just psychology. You just have to be careful with that. So let's see, Kareem says, so reason I'm asking is because vendor usually charge a $5 or $10 fee per order. $10 is expensive. I would actually ask them, I would say, hey, is that on all orders, or is that on orders below a certain amount? Usually it's on orders below a certain amount. I would say, hey, if I bundle an order that's above X or above a certain threshold, can I, or if if the order is above a certain threshold, can you waive that fee? Because usually that fee is for operational costs. But $10 is very expensive. If it's $10 on a $2,000 thing, I don't think that's a big deal. But I mean, it all depends. You have to think from the customer's point of view. If it makes sense for the customer, then yeah, go for it. But you can't charge more than your competitor, like $10 more than your competitor, and not expect the customer to be like, well, I'm going to go with the person who's less. Jay says, do you feel it would be worthwhile to list dropship products on eBay alongside our Amazon listing? I don't know. I don't do eBay. And like in week 2, I mentioned I cannot teach outside, or I cannot comment on things that I don't do. Here's why I did not do eBay, is really 2 reasons. I want passive income. Okay. I do not want to be doing this all day. I do not, the way that I have it set up right now is that I worry about 0.0000001% of the time about this business. With eBay, as far as I understand, you cannot hop on listings because you have to create your own listing. You can duplicate a listing, but you're still creating a listing. And yes, you can have a certain amount of quantity on there, but you're duplicating a listing. And there's no real I don't know. It's not, it's very hard to hop on items, things like that. And it seems like it's too much work having to, then you're creating a listing, you're having to put in as much keywords as you possibly can, try to make the listing as attractive as possible, try to differentiate from your competitors, all that other stuff. Number two, and another reason is, I have yet to find a piece of software that will automate the entire process for me, and that's a big thing for me. I'm far too busy. The whole reason I'm even doing this in the first place, I mean, I do not like physical product. Why would I want to spend more time doing this? I mean, I love drop shipping, but the only reason I love drop shipping, guys, I can tell you right now, only reason I love drop shipping is because I get to do very, very, very little of it. That's literally the only reason. If I had to do this for hours a day, and I knew I was going to be doing this hours a day, like for the rest of my life, I would rather shoot myself in the face. Any time that's spent is literally like adding a Lego block to a castle. Okay, that it's just adding another Lego block to a Lego castle. That's it. Natalie says, do you have an automated way to make sure your supplier has inventory after you initially list and start selling, or do you check as a daily routine? Great question. Great question. There is an automated way. So there's a yes and a no. It depends on the vendor. Some vendors have data feeds, and with those ones that do have data feeds, yes, I get a data feed from them through a piece of software that I use. For the ones that don't, it depends. For the ones that don't, I always ask, and I try to develop a good rapport. I always ask, one, how often do you run out of product? And they will tell me how often they run out of product. And if they do run out of product on a regular basis, I will generally say, okay, what products do you not run out of inventory on? What products are hard for you to move? Because I will find a way to move those products through bundling or something like that. So yeah, I would that's how I would go about it. And because I want to worry about it, I don't want to do it a daily routine. I do not want another job, okay? Because the daily routine really sucks doing this. I want to be able to kind of set and forget it. And then I also let them know, hey, if if you run out of product, if you run out of these products, because they're going to talk to you, they need you as much as you need them. If you run out of these products, or you're about to run out of these products, please let me know, and they'll let you know. Let's see. Kent says, it's through the AGen tax tab when listing. Yeah, there's if you go to week 2, I think I put a whole tax like webinar on that thing, and that's with a tax expert, and she's really good. So it's either I think it's week 2. I'm pretty sure it's week 2. There's a tax expert on there, a webinar that we did, and there's a general setting, the default setting that you can do for taxes in the Amazon settings, but there's also, I always do AGen tax, even though it's totally OCD, even though it's already set. I just do that too, just in case. Tim says, it's great having vendors call you asking how they can help you sell more. Exactly. Once you start, see, this is the other thing you have to get out of your head, and I had to do it too. Trust me, I'm the same exact way. I was totally the same way. And Tim kind of hit the nail on the head, is that we hold these vendors up really, really high on like on a pedestal for some reason. Mainly because we come from a retail arbitrage background or an online arbitrage background, where we're consumers. We're buying. We're like I apologize for the way, but we're kind of sucking off the teat of TJ Maxx and Kroger and all those other stuff, all those other places. But we have to realize that, you know, those are the big boys. These vendors, a lot of the vendors that you're talking about, yes, they sell sometimes, and they sell in the millions. Just because they sell in the millions, if I told you that you know, person X had $1 million, he had a coffee shop that did $1 million a year in revenue, you would probably be like, oh my gosh, this guy's amazing. Wow, I can't believe that. Oh, wow. Ooh, ooh. Guess what? Guess what the average net profit on a coffee shop is? It's between 10 and 20%. Okay? So that means that the person's making anywhere between $100,000 to $200,000 a year, the owner, net profit. So is that a lot? No, when you think about it, it's not that much. Same thing goes for a lot of these vendors, guys. Their net profit is, even though they might be selling $1 million a year, and you see this all the time, especially with Amazon sellers who are trying to sell a course or something like that. And you see me, I was completely upfront saying it's a 10 to 40% margin with drop shipping, but you see all these Amazon sellers who are like, yeah, I did $1 million in sales this year through my private label or through retail arbitrage or whatever. And then you ask them what their margin was, they're like, oh, you know, overall probably about 20%. Not that you couldn't be higher, but still, it's $200,000 a year. It's not that big. It's not that impressive from a net profit margin. That it makes sense. So Phil says the tax expert on webinar said that setting up sales tax collection on Amazon for different states is so complicated that she chooses not to collect sales tax at all. She pays the tax out of her profits. Is it different for drop shipping? Here's what I'll say, guys. One, I collect California sales tax. That's all I do, and it works for me. But any tax questions from here on out, and I will always say this, no matter what. So this is the question that you will get, and the question you can expect every time you ask. And it's not meant to be mean. It's actually meant to help you. Is talk to your CPA. There you go. Okay. Talk to your CPA on what they want you to collect. Okay. Some CPAs will say, you don't need to collect sales tax in all the other states. Some CPAs will say you need to collect sales tax in this state and not in your state, and maybe one of your vendor states. Some will say, hey, you only need to do California because of such and such law. Go with what your CPA says. Don't let this is why I don't like talking about taxes, because people will go, oh, they'll get all scared and they'll start worrying about, oh crap, now I need to go talk to a CPA. I'm going to go hire a CPA. It costs $500 for them to set up this and this and that and all other stuff. Go to, if you want to, talk to your CPA, but tax collection becomes a problem. You know when tax collection becomes a problem, guys? When you made a sale, when you've made sales. So Tim and Mark and Stuart and other people who have made their sales, they have that problem. They should be the only ones worrying about it. If you have not made a sale, don't worry about it. Okay? But once you've made your sale, definitely talk to your CPA. Okay. Cool. Any other questions, guys? I have about 13% left on my battery life. I'm excited, actually. I'm super excited to give you guys the modules and stuff like that tomorrow. It's gonna be pretty awesome. But yeah, guys, the vendors, don't be afraid to talk to the vendors. I used to be like, I mean, we are so used to seeing these Walmart and Kroger and all these other places where, you know, we're peons to them, essentially. They don't need us, okay? And so don't carry that on into these other vendors. I can call the Red Cat Racing guy, Nathan, and I can call him and I can tell him I can say, hey, Nathan, I need some ideas, man, on some bundles. Like what are 3 cars that typically sell together like really, really well? And guess what he's going to say? He's going to say, oh, it's the Earthquake, the Volcano, and the Chimera. Those things like sell all the time in threes. Usually it's for parties or whatever. Well, guess what? Cool, I have my bundle idea. Okay. Or it could be, Nathan, hey, what is not moving? Like, what are some of the parts and accessories that are not moving that you need help moving? I'm going to bundle them up with your Chimeras or something like that, or I'm going to bundle them up with this other thing. They want to make sales. They need to make sales. They have to make sales, okay? Tim says, yeah, with FBA, you want to stay away from vendors, not so with drop shipping. Let them call you. Exactly. FBA, vendors see you scanning, merchants see you scanning, even if you're at a thrift store and they're like eyeing you. They're like, what the heck is this or whatever. But vendors who are like, wait, you want to be a dealer? Sure. I mean, not every vendor is going to be that way, but a good majority of vendors are going to be like, yeah, come be a dealer. That's great. We need more dealers. Phil says, when making new listings, should we worry about optimizing keywords, etc., or just throw something up and we tweak it later? I would just first, I would kind of have an idea. I would use just the Amazon suggestion tool. Sorry, not the suggestion tool. Amazon suggestion bar. I would have this is what's cool about when you're making listings. You can change all this stuff. I would have I would do that first. And see, kind of just make sure like you have an idea of what you want to target and stuff, and then do the listing. Put that as like kind of the first part in your title, and then the rest and I'm going to show you on how I do the listings. The rest, just put it up there, and then if you really want to test and see if sales happen, you can do sponsored ads on it. I don't recommend necessarily doing sponsored ad right away. First and foremost, you are hopping on listings. And then making the listing. Just by making the listing, you'll see some action eventually anyway. But yeah. Kareem says, do you report sellers that go below MAP pricing to the manufacturer, Amazon, LOL? Good question. I would do it when you have a good relationship with your vendor. So it's kind of, it's a kind of sticky road. If it's kind of hard. So sometimes you might be with a distributor, okay, and the distributor will say, hey, this is what the MAP price is for this particular product. Say it's a distributor. The distributors for like a baby doll, like a robotic baby doll or something like that. And they're just a distributor, but they tell you what the MAP price is. You actually would have to talk to the manufacturer to let them know, hey, this person's going below MAP. The thing that you kind of want, I don't think it'll hurt. It's just if you haven't made sales, they're going to kind of see you as kind of like, oh, well, okay, well, thanks, appreciate it. But at the same time, if there's just a ton of violators, you could do that. You could do that. I know that I know with certain vendors that I have, if I saw people going below MAP, I have a good enough relationship with them where I would just be like, hey, dude, just so you know, this seller right here is like totally below MAP, and I don't know if it's because of their repricing software or what, but they do that on pretty much every product, and that will they will have no problem talking with that vendor and getting them off there or whatever. I totally get it though, because the frustrating thing, especially when you get a new vendor and they have a lot of products, frustrating thing is when you see a lot of people below MAP, and you can see like how much of a problem it is for a lot of the manufacturers. Yeah. See, now do you see why people don't like people selling on Amazon with their product? And it can get really frustrating because obviously you're not able to make a profit off of it. So it takes a lot more digging to be able to to be able to sell those different products. But in those situations, I think it's better to, rather than spend the time reporting people, I think it's better to spend the time getting new vendors. Because, like I said, the more vendors that you have, the more opportunity you have to make money in various ways, okay? Because who knows? You never know that a vendor might even, at some point in time, which I doubt will happen if you have a really good relationship, but they might clean up Amazon. They might not. They might say we're only have like 2 or 3 vendors who are going to be on Amazon. So better to get 20 vendors under your belt and to sell the crap out of those 20 vendors than to worry about one vendor and like, you know, fume and foment and totally just like get pissed off that all these people are doing map. Because you can spend hours getting pissed off and trying to find a way to get these people out of there, or you can use that same energy to get 30 different vendors, and then when you start making sales on those other vendors and you're doing that passively and making income while you're reporting people for map, you can then report all those other people for map violation. Phil says, you mentioned use a repricer. Will you be talking about how to use one in this course? Yep, I will be talking about it next week. Like I said, I'm not talking about any of that stuff. Anything that costs money, like right off the bat, I'm not going to talk about. I hate when I buy something. In fact, I just bought something, a course, a quote unquote course to get ClickFunnels templates. And that had a bunch of ClickFunnels templates. And what do they say as soon as you get in the course? Oh, cool, yes, we have these basic ClickFunnels templates, but if you really want the good, awesome templates that pretty much they promised me in the first place, you have to buy this $297 whatever. I'm like, screw you, no, give my money back. I hate courses where it's like, hey, cool, dream dropshipping, passive income, here, buy this software and you're gonna be able to do everything. I don't get anything out of the software, guys. That I have no affiliate links or anything like that. And this can all be done manually. If you wanted to hire someone, or if you wanted to have, you know, a family member do it and just pay them a certain amount per order or something like that, you can totally do it that way. Okay. This is all the stuff I want to show you how to do it manually, so you have all those options. I cannot stand courses where they try to do that type of stuff. Okay, that's why I do it at the end, and I hope you guys appreciate that. I never ever want you guys to be to ever feel that way. Tim has a great point, and exactly, stay in map compliance, and the non-compliant seller will go away. Exactly. The cool thing is, if you, that's another thing, Kareem, which you could do. If you stay within map compliance, think about it. Say, what if the reason why those people were below map was because you had retail arbitrageurs who got some smoking deals, and they don't know or care about map, and the reason why it's down that much is because they got those smoking deals, and they're going to sell out at some point in time. On top of that, what if those map guys end up getting cleaned away? You'd be in the running for all those other for that when they actually go away. So say you hopped on, I'm not telling you to do this now, but say you hopped on 100 listings, and all of if you knew that if you sold it at map that you would be able to sell that item for a profit, and all of those 100 items you actually sold, you stayed on, and you spend the 10 seconds to hop on there, when everyone's cleared away, you can be in the running for that item. Does that make sense? So that would be kind of my suggestion. Okay. Let's see. On listings with few servers, I think you still get the buy box if you're within a certain percentage of the lowest price, right? Yes. Yeah, it's about 2%. It depends on your ratings. It depends on your feedback. It depends on your price. Depends on a couple of different factors. But generally, I like you just going 1 cent above. I don't know. It's just OCD. Yeah, it's just being OCD, OCD about it. Cool. I have about 9% on my stuff, guys. It's going to be going to about an hour and 45 minutes. Have about 4 more minutes of questions, and then I'll let you go. I really appreciate, guys. If keep me. The best thing is I want you always to keep me in the loop of what's going on. Okay. Don't ever think, especially in the Facebook group. Don't ever think. As long as you're positive, as long as you are like totally, positive and moving forward and all that other stuff, don't ever think that I don't ever want to see you guys like ask questions or anything like that. Sometimes my questions might be short because it's a very simple answer, but I always want to see you guys succeed. So I'm always going to try and make myself available. Okay. This is what the Facebook group is there for. This is why I have a presence there, and I intend to have a big presence there. Guys like Tim and Mark, and especially Tim. Tim's been so helpful, man. Thank you so much, Tim. Tim's really taken this to a whole new level. And so, just thanks so much for being so available. Yeah, but Mark and other people who are doing well, thank you so much for helping other people. It makes a big difference too. But yeah, like 3 more minutes of questions, so feel free. Thanks, Tim. Tim says, telling y'all you're getting $5,000 in value for this course for $500. Nobody does these like Dean. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. So cool. Cool. One more question. We should always try to negotiate with vendors on their pricing. Yes and no. I would hop on, get an account, start making sales, and then every now and then just say, hey, is it possible to get a price break on this? Hey, I've been selling this, really, really well. I think I could sell more. Is it possible to get a price break? I also plan on doing some more marketing for it. That's kind of why you can even say I want to have some padding because I'm going to be doing some marketing for this thing. But yeah, you can always ask for price breaks. I mean, it's as long as it makes sense for them, they'll do it. I mean, because remember, the other thing you can do is as you start making sales, you can start going into the wholesale route and you can start buying bulk because you've already tested out everything. You've already tested out everything, and you know that it sells at a certain velocity. You can go into the wholesale route and increase your margins. So yeah, it's a if you can get a 5% price break on something by just talking, by just asking, not being annoying. You always have to have a win-win. You always have to give kind of the reason why, or you always have to prove yourself. Because imagine if you were a vendor and you are selling something and you're trying to increase sales this year, and you approve someone, and the first thing they ask you is, hey, can I get a price break on this? Like a bigger price break? You'd be like, oh, great, not one of these guys. But if you sell a few, if you're like, man, I love your product, this is awesome, this is what I plan on doing, you sell a few and you start going and going and going, man, what vendor would not want to give you a price break if they see that you're doing well? They want you to do better. Cool. Kent says, thanks everyone. Great questions and comments. Great class, Dean. Cool, Kent. Kent's the man, by the way. Kent's I have a feeling that Kent's gonna rock this. Kareem, Phil is gonna rock this. Benji's already starting to rock this. Cynthia, she's gonna rock this. I saw I talked to her not too long ago. She's gonna do really well. And Tara is good. Or, Tana, I mean, is gonna do well. Tim, you make sales and your vendor will call you, give you specials and deals. It's already happening to me. I started drop shipping the same time as you. Love it. So cool. So cool. Yeah, and then, those of you who don't know, she probably was like kind of Tana used to do this for used to drop ship too, and like she's going to be a monster at this. So guys, you have some awesome people in the Facebook group, so make sure that you talk to each other. It's gonna be awesome. Cool. All right, guys. Well, looks like we don't have any more questions. You guys are awesome. And if you do have any questions, please hit me up on the Facebook, and I will answer them. And we'll see you in the next class. That one's going to be full automation, baby. Full automation. So I think you're gonna love this, love it. And then on this week module, you're gonna love what we do automation wise on this too, and as well as the bundling and all that other stuff. All right, we will catch you on the flip side. See ya.